All right, welcome back to another episode of the Urban Experience. My name is Braylon.
Chris Strickland here again.
Sheila.
Welcome back. We're glad to have you back again with us. How was your 2020?
Oh man, 2020 started off pretty intense, right? We had the Atlanta riots.
Yeah.
A lot of people I knew getting shot by rubber bullets downtown by the National Guard. So that was an interesting start to 2020. And then this thing called COVID-19 happened, which was something that I thought was pretty distant from me until I eventually got it. But all in all, 2020 is leveling out. You know what I'm saying? I enjoyed the holidays.
For sure.
Made me reflect a lot, and getting back together with family was good after a pretty tough year. So
Yeah.
How about yours?
2020. It started off pretty good, and then COVID kind of I say disrupted the rhythm I had going on at the time.
The pandemic, right?
Yeah. Like I was in the gym, I had school, this and that. So I had like a pretty good rhythm going on, and then everything shut down for that.
Right.
In Atlanta, probably 2 weeks or so. But yeah, so not being able to get in the gym like I wanted to, it kind of threw a monkey wrench in everything, and then. I don't know, I just had a lot of time to sit back and just reflect over the year. And then I had a little situation at the end of the year.
Uh-oh.
But we'll get into that later.
All right.
I had a little
hell of a
situation.
year.
Yeah. But all in all, I say it was good. How about you, Sheila? How was your 20?
I'm like y'all, and then COVID. That's what everybody says. 2020 was, it was good, but and then COVID. So if you're tuning back in, you know that also I had COVID back in October, and now I'm sitting next to Chris, who's a recent COVID.
So we are COVID-19 veterans.
Right.
We're going into it seasoned.
The immunity is real for a little while, but I'm about to expire, and I'm a little uncomfortable sitting next to Chris. No, I'm kidding. I'm not.
Listen, all right? Hey.
So have you been back around your family since you've had COVID?
No, I have not. I needed to test negative before I got back around with my family.
Okay.
And since I've tested negative, I'll be seeing my folks later on today.
Okay.
For some,
Cool.
Every New Year's Eve, we do black eyed peas and collard greens.
Oh.
It's like a tradition.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? What the black eyed peas are pennies or something?
I don't know. We just always
You
eat
need
it.
to know what it
was
was.
never. No. I mean, I don't ask any questions. It's food. It's good food that I am getting. I don't ask questions
Is
about
that a black tradition or is that like a?
Yeah, like when I was little, like my grandma and them used to do that for sure.
Okay.
So do you know what it means? What are black eyed peas?
I know the collard greens is money, but I can't remember the black eyed peas was like good luck or like how you were saying
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
coins or something. But I know for sure we used to do that when I was a little kid.
So I have a question.
Okay.
You're ginger and you're very. Are you mixed with anything?
No, just black.
You're
just
black, okay.
very odd looking black.
No, it's unique. Yeah. I just asked because I didn't know what a tradition came from. You were like mixed or.
Oh, I see what you're saying. No, I am 100%
Black man.
just very pale and very red at the top.
Okay.
Yeah, no, my family, and then my on my dad's side, they're from Americus, Georgia. So
Okay.
typically around this time, they're killing hogs to eat.
Okay.
So
That's
not
so
only am I
dope.
African American, but I'm from the woods. My folks.
That's dope. I like that.
So
You ever killed a
yeah.
hog?
Have I ever killed one? No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
That's a sacred tradition left to like people before me. My older cousins and uncles, they do that. I don't do that.
Chris used to be eating raccoons and squirrels. And shit
Yeah,
like
okay,
that.
listen, not raccoons or squirrels, just the pigs. I've never seen a cow taken out yet.
Yeah.
But that would be cool. I eat enough burgers, I feel like I need to see where it originates from.
Where it come from?
But no, just hogs. And
Okay.
typically that's left to like the older cousins, uncles, they do that. It's not my time yet.
Yeah. Now my granddad was like that. He was in the army and he used to tell me about like eating rabbits and squirrels and snakes and all kind of shit. I'm like, man.
While he was in the military or just like at home?
Like while he was in the military, but he was
Okay.
like, oh yeah, that's good though. That's good. I'm like, nah, hell no. You got that, man. You got
All
that.
right. And he's probably like, it just tastes like chicken.
Yeah, damn near. Yeah, that's basically what he was saying for real.
It tastes like chicken. Nah, I've never had raccoon. I think I've had squirrel.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes when you're a kid, some random meat is just sprinkled in, but.
I say I had like deer and I've had like alligator tail, but that's probably as far left as I've been with the meat and shit like that.
Yeah. Just as
I think
far
I
as-
have. I want to say I had fraud list before, but I can't remember. I'm pretty sure I did, but that's about as
Right.
left as I went with that.
The universe just sent me a sign, okay?
Uh-oh.
So, black-eyed peas are a mystical and mythical power to bring good luck.
Mm-hmm.
I will be eating black-eyed peas today. And collard greens, they're green like money and will ensure you a financially prosperous new year. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So, thank you, universe.
Universe, thank you for that information.
So yeah, so off of the subject a little bit of the food, y'all making me hungry. Chris has come to us. He has actually a spinoff podcast,
Yes. Strick on the Mark.
Strict on the Mark.
Just gonna go ahead and go with it. Strick on the Mark.
I like it.
Yeah, it's cool. I'll be doing this podcast segment with Mark Willoughby, a economically conservative individual who is the polar opposite of me. I'm more so liberal on the political spectrum. We'll be talking about politics, a little bit of sports, and it should be a good conversation.
Okay.
And honestly, I hope it's a very healthy discourse that shows our politicians how we can work across the aisle and
Love it.
talk.
Okay. That's what's up. Y'all be on the lookout for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can find that also on StarDownEntertainment.com.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So as far as the election, what can you tell us today about what's going on? We're in Georgia, so for the listeners who know, all of us live here, and it's very important for Georgia right now. And why is that, Chris?
Right. Very important election, special runoff. Basically, this is deciding whether or not the Republicans will keep the majority in the Senate, or if there will be just a standoff between Democrats and Republicans in the Senate. We have on the Democrat side Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff, and on the Republican conservative side David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler. Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff, they're basically running on the same kind of campaign points, where they're looking at increasing minimum wage, they're looking at protecting Roe v. Wade, they're looking at protecting voting rights, since that's become a pretty major issue as of late. John Ossoff, he's more so going with the investing in green energy, solar, wind, et cetera, and so that's more the Democratic side. The Republican side, they're working on the same age-old political points of quote-unquote protecting the Second Amendment, cutting taxes for the business class, the pro-life, anti-abortion kind of, points that they use to rally their base, et cetera. And of course, there's controversy, as usual, with campaigns on either side. And we can talk about it if you would like to.
So with all that being said, and you seeing not the pros and cons, but what one side has to offer versus what the other side has to offer, have you voted?
I have not voted yet.
Not yet.
I plan to. I will meet the deadline. I know I'm talking big. I'm talking big.
Is he
I'm
capping?
going to go out. Listen, I had COVID. We're in a pandemic, right? That's what we say
Where's the mail-in ballot? What's going on?
Okay, so here's the thing. I did get a mail-in ballot. I got a mail-in ballot, but either I'm not smart enough to read the directions, or the directions were too confusing. There's like multiple envelopes. Okay, you're supposed to stick one thing inside of another envelope. I did it the opposite way. I stuck an envelope in the wrong envelope. Okay. And so because I tore it up a little bit, I don't think I can submit it.
Right.
So I have to go in person.
So you rather be safe and just make sure your vote is counted.
But then also, because it's like kind of tore, I don't think they're going to accept it.
I got you. That makes sense. Okay.
With the new conversations about voter fraud and stuff like that. And me having to rip open an envelope to put my documentation in the actual envelope I was supposed to put it in, I have to go in person.
So let me ask you this. You are, I'm not going to say you are very well-versed in politics. So, yeah. So, like, for listeners out there who want to know more about it and just maybe haven't had the time or don't know where to go to look for it, what would you recommend people learn more and get their own knowledge of, like, who should I vote for and things like that? Right.
So, first and foremost, PolitiFacts, their website, they not only have information about each candidate's campaign points, they also have a section where, so let's say Raphael Warnock, he's basically doing this runoff with Kelly Loeffler.
Right.
On PolitiFacts, they have Kelly Loeffler's arguments against why Raphael Warnock should not be the senator, and then they will basically put whether those statements are true or false.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And then they have the sources to show why that particular statement is true or
I
false.
like
And so it gives you a pretty good understanding of not only the information that's out there, but who's lying and who's telling the truth. So that's the place that I predominantly go to get my information. And then also I do a little healthy balance of CNN and NPR. I look at some Fox News, but with the understanding that, of course,
There's bias.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They all have their leans.
Right.
And so just a healthy balance, just to see what the conversation is out there and to, bring it to
That's
other
good.
people.
So is that PolitiFacts.com or?
Yes,
what's the
PolitiFacts.com.
Okay. So good stuff. Because I myself am not really into. I know enough about it to make an educated decision, but I'm not into it. Like, I went to Clark, and like the first year I went to Clark, my freshman political science teacher was so fly, black lady, so I just loved it. So that made me want to get into politics, but I never really was really into it as you are. So PolitiFacts.com, like, just be educated about the decision that you make, and not just vote because that's the thing people say to do or you don't really know. Just not to be ignorant about it.
And if you think that you don't have enough time, they literally have a section that says for each candidate, if you don't have enough time, and they break it down bullet by bullet, like 3 or 4 different bullets, just to give you a very brief and clear description of what's going on in politics, so that you don't have to read through all the the nitty gritty policies and the journal articles like I do.
Okay.
Like you like to do. You like that?
I love it. I love it. There's nothing else to do. I mean, we're in a pandemic. We're supposed to be at home anyway.
Yeah. But before we leave this topic, though, like, what led you to get so, like, deep into politics? Or?
Oh, my goodness. Just growing up, just seeing or experiencing how politics had a bearing on my everyday life. My mom was a single parent, 4 kids.
Right.
She apparently made too much to qualify for food stamps and other forms of social welfare. And then growing up, I think I came into what I'd say political consciousness around like 14, 15.
Wow.
Just pissed because it didn't make sense how a system that has a constitution and that is supposed to be democratic isn't allowing my mom, who was working as hard as she can for her kids, to have support. That she pays taxes. She is entitled to this social welfare, and yet she's not getting it, and it just didn't make any sense to me. So I started reading, and one of the first books I read to kind of make sense of things was Malcolm X's autobiography.
I love that book.
Okay.
And from then on, it was, I need to be more entrenched in this stuff.
Right.
And here I am today, nerd.
I love it.
So that was some things that went on in 2020. But what were some like highs and lows for you guys, I guess, for 2020? Or like, what did you learn, or how did you grow in 2020?
Yeah, that's
fact.
I think first and foremost, the CDC may know what they're talking about. I probably shouldn't go to gatherings on Thanksgiving, even though I haven't seen family for a while, because you may get COVID. That's one. 2, I think particularly during the Atlanta riots, I experienced how intense getting a lot of your worldview from social media can be. A lot of social media, personalities and, of course, news outlets that are on there, they sensationalize a lot of the information, for good or for bad. And I got caught up in, of course, quarantining, not being outside, not being able to see for myself what's actually happening, and getting caught up in all the chaos on social media.
Yeah.
And it put me in a bad place.
Yeah.
So I think the second point is kind of, take a break from social media sometimes.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
It'll take you to weird places.
Yeah.
And then third, and then I'm going to leave it off to you guys, is more positive thought and less negative thought.
Yeah.
I'm a very self-critical person, almost to my detriment, and I don't think I need to be so much going into 2021. I need to be a little bit more self-compassionate. It's healthier, and it's just something that I haven't really exercised in the past, and I'm looking forward to intentionally doing that leading into 2021.
So like giving yourself more credit, or what do you mean?
Just when I make a mistake, not looking at it as Chris, what the hell, man, but as Chris, how do we learn from this? How do we get better from this mistake?
Yeah.
Versus beating myself down and making it seem as if this is an intrinsic part of who I am, this mistake that I made.
Yeah.
Just stuff like that.
I get it. I get that. Okay.
For me, so I guess some high points. Locked up a situation, I guess like a career situation for me after graduation or whatever. So that was probably a high for me. And like I said on our previous episodes, just taking the time to really like just lock in and just analyze myself and just like, all right, how can I get better? Like, what do I need to do better?
Yeah.
Or even identifying some triggers for like maybe my anger or like
Those triggers.
What makes me, I don't know, what takes me to a bad place or whatever. Just having that time to really like analyze myself and like really grow in a way. And then for a low, I would say, so I had a situation this past week where like, you know, I got caught up in something I did a while ago.
My pinky up there. Can I get my pinky up at the same time? I don't know. This cup is kind of heavy.
So, I mean, I'll be real with the listeners.
I'll be good. What is it?
Here we go. Buckle up. It's going to be a bumpy one.
Long story short, I'll be real with the listeners. I got caught up in a situation where I was involved with somebody that was probably off limits, I would say. And, you know, I tried to go back to my girl, but eventually it ended up coming out, and it came out on her birthday or whatever while we was in L.A. So, you know, I mean, it was a low, you know. It's somebody I care about. You know, I never wanted to hurt her, especially on her birthday, especially something that I was trying to make special or whatever like that. So, you know, just learning from that situation and, like, you know, the whole situation, it was just, like, driven by, like, I was I want to say, I mean, I was grieving at the time, I was saying I didn't really know how to deal with it. So just analyzing myself and, like, just knowing that find healthier ways to grieve rather than, like, letting comments or certain things get to me and take me to a place where I know I shouldn't go or make me be a person that I know I'm not. Or like, you know, just not letting what somebody say drive my temper to make me do something that I shouldn't have done or whatever. So like even just that whole situation, like, I mean, it is what it is. I did what I did. I gotta, you know, live with it. I gotta take my lick, be a man about it. So, I mean, it is what it is. So that was probably a low for me for the 2020 at the end. But, I mean, I learn and grow from it, you know?
That's all you can do.
Yeah.
That's literally all you can do.
Yeah. But, Chris, being that you are engaged to your girl, so, like, you know, I just obviously got caught cheating on my girl or whatever. So, like, what's some advice that you could offer her, like, because, I mean, so me and the girl, we had been off and on since I was, like, 13 or so or whatever. So, like.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Like, at what point is, like, of course, like, a relationship is like work, you know what I'm saying? You gotta go through the ups and downs or whatever. So, like, how do you identify that line where it's just like, all right, this is becoming too much work and we should just end the relationship rather than, like, all right, we're just gonna keep working through this? Because, like, at the end of the day, like, you know, like, I feel like we kept trying to make it work just because, like, she knows I'm a good person. I know she's a good person, but, like, obviously with the situation, I crossed the line. So, like, at what point do you know when, like, all right, this is too much work, we need to end this rather than just, like, working through the situation?
Right. So I'm going to say first thing, go to therapy. Therapy is not for quote-unquote crazy people, right? Therapy is a process where we can all get better. We learn more. You were just saying you want to learn more about yourself. Bring somebody in the room that has some, you know, some education under their belt to teach you how to do that, to help you through that process. That's a long time ago. I had no kind of emotional intelligence. I was just doing things.
Yeah.
I would lash out because of some childhood stuff.
Yeah.
I had some pretty intense negative self-thoughts all the time because of other things that happened when I was a kid. But therapy, or a good therapy, does a great job of taking you back to that point, but as someone who's an observer of it, of why that played out and how that is currently playing out and who you are today. So I'd say definitely, actually, that's the only point I have for you, really. Go to therapy. Learn more about yourself before you try to learn about this other person.
So not even with the girl in question, just himself.
Yeah. Yourself, because that's where it starts.
Okay.
With anything, but definitely with relationships.
Yeah.
Just having the vocabulary, and I think the other part of it, this is just kind of a sub point, is understanding, like you said, your triggers, but how to advocate for yourself and having that emotional eloquence whenever you're talking with your significant other. Of like, I did this because of X, Y, and Z, and I'm working on it.
Yeah.
And the work is in therapy.
Yeah, but I mean, I agree with you. Like being that it finally came out and everything like that, I could like look at myself at that situation and like, all right, like it's not something that I would typically do because like the opportunity to do what I did, it was there, like, you know. But I mean, me in my right mind, I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that or whatever. But me knowing what I had going on at the time and like just different factors and there's many layers that led to that situation, like I know that like just mentally like I said, it was around the time, I mean, I don't want to keep talking about this every episode. It's probably the last episode I'll probably bring it up. But it was around the time like my grandfather had passed away and like I felt like I didn't really have an outlet to like really vent how I was feeling. Like I
will say the fact that keeps coming up for you is definitely something that should bring you to therapy.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree, and I tried or whatever. I mentioned that in the previous episode too. But like, I just know me, I wasn't like in my right space or whatever. So like, just knowing that happened and just the many factors that led into me doing what I did or whatever. So I mean, I could look back and like, all right, like what I did was terrible or whatever. But I mean, it is what it is. Like, you know, gotta take my lick with it.
Yeah, and I feel like you're in a perfect position to start building.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. A star isn't born unless a planet breaks down. You know what I'm saying? Like and that's physics.
Like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, I mean, your physical body too. You know what I'm saying? You have to break down before you start to rebuild.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, it was the same for me, honestly. And I can be totally honest with you. I tried to commit suicide because of my self-hatred. Latter part of high school, going into college, I had a lot of self-hatred. Did not know really what to do with myself. And luckily for me, I had some friends who suggested that I go to therapy and try to rebuild because I was seriously broken down to the foundation, broken down. And today I can definitely say, as a result of therapy and just practicing that emotional, just advocating for myself to other people, I'm in a healthier place.
Yeah. So you use like resources within Georgia as far as like therapy and things like that. So like, what are some of the places like for the listeners that may be going through something? Like, what are some of the resources or outlets that you use?
Right. So that I use in particular, I just Google around for like therapists in my area that take my insurance because therapy should not be something that you spend thousands of dollars out of pocket to get. I attend UGA, and so they have their own health centers.
Yeah, Georgia State does as well.
Yeah, and so if you're in college or at a university, definitely look into your school's mental health services. I know United Way has a 411 number. I didn't use this, but it's a 411 number for people who are going through like crisis, like a mental health crisis. You give them a call, they will actually route you to a person right then and there on the phone.
Damn, that's what's up.
So there's all sorts of resources available, and we can put it on the website, I think, right? Other resources that aren't on my top of my head right now, but we can put it on the website just so that people have access to it. But there's so much out there, and before you make that last decision, like I almost did, definitely take advantage of those resources.
Definitely. But Sheila, what were some highs and lows for you? I know what we had was a little heavy. Like
they are. They're not including me because I have not been in a relationship for 10 years. Okay, I'm not here.
Don't let Sheila keep lying to y'all either. Sheila always, I got a date this day and I got a date.
I was gonna leave and let y'all be. Y'all don't need me.
No. Yes, we do. We do.
So nothing's ever a bad moment for me because it is an opportunity to learn.
Yeah.
So even your situation, what you just went through and what you're going through, you're growing, and you grew from what you went through when you were younger, and it made you who you are today. I'm learning from you right now. So had you not been here, I wouldn't get to experience.
Sure. Sure. Yeah.
What you've been through. But one of my lows, I will say, is I myself went through COVID. I had COVID in October. And so I was laughing earlier, like, oh my gosh, like I'm almost out of my immunity period. Like I have like a week left to wild out. But that's beyond me now.
You do not need to be doing that.
I'm not even, so it's New Year. Today is New Year's Eve. I'm not even going out tonight. Like I just, so that was a low for me. Not knowing if what is going on, if it's going to affect me the way it has affected other people. Who may have passed away or gotten really sick or made their loved ones sick because they didn't know they were ill. But also, like, I took 3 months off of work because when this first happened, I didn't know what this was. And you know, the way the media portrayed it to be, because I didn't know all I had to go off of is the media. I'm like, you know what? They, dying in China and all this stuff is going on. I'm not going to work. And I work for the airline. I'm not going to work. I'm going to stay at home. So I stayed at home for 3 months. So during that 3 month period made me realize like all these things that I said, I want to try this and I'm going to, if I had time, I'd do this. And so many of those things I did not do. So I was able to identify like this was really not a passion of mine because if it was, I had nowhere to go, nowhere to be, nothing, no obligations, but I still didn't do that. So I really, that wasn't an interest of mine. But I also was able to pick up things that I really did want to do. I got back into acting. I let that go. I had my son, and I stopped acting because I had to, be a parent and really, provide and things like that. So now that I'm at a much more stable place in life and I can take different risks and he's older and able to do for himself. He's 12. He's able to do for himself. Like, I picked that back up. That's going really well. I'm auditioning. If you're a first-time listener, I met Braylon through a pilot that we were doing called Doughboy. And if this podcast is available on StarDonEntertainment.com. So, you'll see the Doughboy coming soon. That's going to be coming out in 2021. But, just doing different things. And, I'm not perfect. This podcast was never in my scope, ever. Yeah. I was just telling Brittany, who does our makeup, I don't even like to talk. If you call my phone, if you're in jail and you got one call, don't call me because I'm not gonna pick up the phone. I'm not a talker. But I will talk, but maybe that's why I talk a lot now because I don't. But I'm not a talker. I don't like that. But I do enjoy this time I have with them. But my point of saying that is, you never know where something will lead you, and and make you better. But I figure, I'm learning. I'm not into politics, but I'm learning about it. If I hear that, Chris is going to come and be our guest and talk about politics, well, I don't want to sound ignorant. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to research and find out a little more than I knew before in case he hits me with a one-off that I don't know about.
I would never do that.
You
never do that.
We have to edit some things, but it helps you grow, and you never know how you grow. I've learned a lot through Braylon. This is becoming like my family, and I'm enjoying spending time here. So that's a high for me, definitely. And weeding out things I did not want to do. But one thing that I do want, that I have realized has helped me be successful this year and will help me next year is consistency. In everything. I've watched my body even transform. I've always had a certain build, but I've watched certain things that I've always wanted to be, to enhance or whatever, but I was consistent with it, and I see consistency in my workout. I see consistency.
She was trying to be slim thick.
I am. That's why I wore the shirt today. But I just hold on.
Listen, hey, you know what I'm saying?
Look at it. They got a little knowledge in the fell all apart.
Lord have mercy, I'm man. But consistency is key, and I really want to take more of that into 2021. When I want to give up, I just got to remember why I started. So I took 1 week off from work. I don't go back to work for a week because I want to literally write down what I want to do, but not only what I want to do, but why I want to do it, right? Write down my whys. Because if my whys don't align with me doing it, I'm not going to do it. Because sometimes you have motivation that's not even serving you. Like you're just doing it for all the wrong reasons. And I don't have time. I don't want to make time to do things aimlessly.
Right.
Like I want to be intentional about every single thing I do because it was working for me in 2020, and I want it to work for me in 2021. Like 2020, like I don't look at it as a straight bust. It wasn't. I learned so much.
Right.
Yeah.
And
You had
I'm
some
so
time to
happy
reflect.
with who I'm becoming. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So happy with who I'm becoming, and I've had lows. Don't get me wrong, but I literally don't look at a low as a low. It's a learning opportunity. How will you ever grow if you never experience anything bad? Not going to happen. Good luck, and if it happened to you, I would like for you. This is my invitation to invite you on the podcast and tell everybody how that worked for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah.
Calling them out.
Ooh, yeah. Because I would love to hear it.
Y'all are on there doing that.
Come join us.
Yeah, but I mean that's what we experienced in 2020. Like we wrapping it up. Today's New Year's Eve. Like what's some things that you guys want to accomplish in 2021? Like what are some goals you have? Like what do you expect in 2021?
Yeah. I'm expecting in 2021 to just force myself to hone my craft, honestly. I think that, or at least I think that I have things that I'm good at.
Yeah.
But
What is that? I wanna
taking
know.
it, just writing and speaking. And I want to hone that. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing to be good at it. It's another thing to be an expert of it. And I think I'm at a point in my life where I need to take it to the next level. I have the time to do it. I have a lot of resources. I literally walk around with a computer in my pocket.
Yeah.
Why haven't
Yeah,
I taken
yeah,
advantage
yeah,
of that?
yeah.
Just, part of it is laziness, and the other part of it was that 2020 was hard for me too.
Yeah.
And I grieve in a multiplicity of ways, one of which is just to chill.
Chill,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Not do nothing because I can't really focus on it. But in 2021, I want to hone my craft. That'll be my primary focus. And I think part of it is that consistency that you were talking about.
Nice.
Yeah, for me, I think like you guys were saying, like consistency going into 2021. I feel like 2020, I just took the time to really deal with things I was grieving. To grieve about certain things and think my way through certain things, and like I said, realize like what's bothering me, what triggers me, things like that. So now that I know that, now it's time to like implement what I really want to do.
Yeah.
Because like I feel like I'm supposed to be rich right now. Like I had some opportunities that I feel like I ain't take advantage of in the best way, and like I think now I'm just at the point where like, and like a big like realization for me last year was like everybody can't go. Like I got friends that like I know and they live a certain type of way, but I don't really live that way no more. So like now I just gotta I cut all that out of my life. I don't
Right.
fuck around no more or nothing. So it's just like, I mean, everybody can't go. I still love you. I still, we gonna still kick it and stuff like that, but you can't bring everybody along. So for me, it's just like I really gotta lock in with myself and like really establish myself like in a professional way rather than like what we was doing before and stuff like that. So I think that's a big thing for me going into 2021. And I'm a big routine person and stuff like that. So like I said, in the beginning of 2020, I had a pretty good routine. Like I was waking up at 4 every day and getting my whole day done and be in the bed, sleep by like 10:30.
4 in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Like I'm like I gotta be like a super early bird or like 9 o'clock type person. Like there's no in between. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so like just establishing a good routine for myself that's healthy, and also like getting my body healthy as well. Like I went to a doctor maybe like a year ago, and they was like, blood pressure's high, you might be pre-diabetic, all that, this and that.
Really?
So like, yeah. And I was a little, I had got a little overweight at one point. Like I was like 230 or some shit. I was looking crazy, but yeah, just getting myself healthy or whatever, and establishing a good routine for myself going into 2021. Of course, everybody got financial goals they want. And just obviously learning from the situation I just went through with my, I guess now ex-girlfriend or whatever. And just,
It's not over.
nah, she was on my head early this morning like, nigga, fuck you, this and that.
Please don't watch this episode, girl. Please don't watch this
Yeah, this one was exclusively about you. Goodness gracious.
The title gonna be
my
Oh,
ex-girlfriend. My now ex-girlfriend. Anyway.
But yeah, just learning from that whole situation and just applying that to whatever happens next, and just, you know, getting better. I'm getting older. I turn 25 next year. It's getting crazy, man. I'm like, damn, I'm 25 already.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much what I want to hold myself accountable for moving forward for 2021.
Nice. Holding yourself accountable. So I know you're getting ready to ask me, but I pretty much said it like you said, I don't want to hold on to anything that no longer serves me. You know, that's friendships. Like, I am not into forcing friendships, forcing, you know, situations. Like, if it's too hard, like, sometimes that's an indicator. Like, this is not, like, take another path.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're going to get a lot of no's in life, even with jobs or whatever. But, like, just take that and do what you can with it. And that's what I want to do. If it don't serve me, like, I'm making my own path. Like, I'm gonna figure it out.
Yeah, that path of least resistance. Yeah, you know,
It's too much. We have access to too many people. And even like I said, this podcast not being in my scope, like, this is taking me to places I've like had no idea that I would even go. And I'm just so excited. Like, and I want to keep doing more of what makes me uncomfortable. And y'all know, I am like you, like a little bit, you know, creature of habit and just like letting things be routine. But like, slowly, I will, you know, do what makes me uncomfortable and like take like slow baby steps, because if not, I'll probably freak out.
Yeah.
But I'm open to it and I'm okay with that. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and just to piggyback what you were saying, it's just like, I know me, I got to start setting better boundaries with people, because, like, you know, you younger, you know, you got your friends or loved ones or whatever. It's like, all right, they need something, I got it in my power, I'm gonna do it. Like, whether it puts me in a bad situation or not, and like, that's keeping it real or whatever. But like, at the same time, that's not keeping it real with yourself, because like, I mean, it's been a million times I done put myself in a bad situation just to make sure one of my loved ones was straight or whatever. But like,
That's admirable, I think, though. No.
I mean, that's how I felt at a certain point.
Insofar as it makes you uncomfortable, I think you're right. You need to start putting up some boundaries.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Cause like, I mean, it's been times where like, even this situation, I ain't gonna say it no more. But like, just knowing like, when I need something, it's not too many people I could call for real. But like, when somebody needs something, I'm the first person they call, and I get up, jump, this and that, make it happen for them and stuff like that. And they happy, but at the same time, I might have put myself in a fucked up situation, or I might have drained myself in an emotional way or a physical way or whatever, and I get nothing in return for real besides saying I'm real. Like, fuck.
I resonate with that. Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, sometimes, like, instead of doing that, maybe you can give people the tools to solve their own problem. Like, stop looking for me. Like, even like with, I'll say, homelessness in Atlanta or wherever you are. I'm not saying I'm against like giving people like food or providing resources, but sometimes the resource needs to be to, how can I help you help yourself? So even you doing that for your friends, like, I'm still here for you, but I'm not gonna be the end product. You're about to figure this out on your own. And I teach that to my son now. Like, what did he ask me? He said, do I have X amount of money on my card, on his debit card? I said, you can look it up yourself. I don't know the past. You're gonna figure it out. And, well, I need to put the money in the bank. Okay, we're going to go to the bank. Like, you're not going to use my debit card because my debit card has the money on it. You're going to figure out how to put this money on your debit card. We went through this yesterday, okay? So I don't just say it. Like, I really implement this in my own life. Like, we really have got to help those around us, because you are who you hang around. Look at your friends in your circle. Like, I'm telling you, I get so much from being around the people that I'm around. The facility that we use to shoot the podcast, even the people, you know, who own this space, like entrepreneurs and the things they're doing, like, I take from everybody. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? So you can be the resource for your friends and the people who are just taking so much from you. Like, gosh, dang, Braylon ain't got nothing else to give because y'all taking everything from me.
Yeah. And that was like a big thing for me this year. I say like, around like summertime this year, I just had like this thing where I'm just like, man, fuck everybody. Like, I got into it with my mama, my little brother, like family, friends, everybody. I'm just like, man, fuck everybody. Cause it's just like to the point where like I'm giving so much, but I feel like when I need, I can't really go to nobody. So it's just like.
But question for you. You still have the inclination to help a lot.
Of course, I mean, that's just who I am. And like.
Because you get some gratification from that.
Yeah, it does make me
needed
feel
by other
good.
exactly. Being needed by other people does fulfill us in a certain way. But it can become a little pathological when we are putting too much out there and the gratification is not congruent with how much we're putting out there.
No, I mean, I feel like that's definitely what happened to me this year. It's just like, man, I was just
and I'm sure it can be
everybody.
exhausting.
Yeah.
It can be exhausting to the point where, I mean, you even had to just stop doing it because you weren't noticing initially how exhausting it was until it debilitated you.
Yeah.
And you had to just totally zone out.
But what I feel like bothered me most is that it's just not appreciated. It's just something they feel like I'm supposed to do. Like, nah, like, do you know how many people, like, wish they had somebody that would do, like, some of the things that I would do for other people? And I do it because I know that feeling of wishing I had somebody in my life that would help me with this or help me with that. So that's why I do certain things. But then it comes to a point where they take it for granted or they feel like that's what I'm supposed to do because I've done it so many times. So I'm just like, man, I'm falling back from everybody, like.
It's that cycle of interdependence, man, where they depend on you for the work that you do for them, and you depend on that work for some self-worth.
Yeah.
And it's just this cycle that keeps going on and on. But the one thing that isn't perpetual is the amount of energy you have to put forth in that cycle. And it's breaking you down.
Yeah.
I'm happy you said that, though. I had a friend this year. We were like, I've known her since 95. So we were like, I'm telling my age. So we were 10. Okay? I'm 35. Okay? Don't look it. I'm 35. But our friendship was starting to dwindle and just like go all over the place. But she told me, like one day, she said, you have not really been a good friend. And she told me why. Like that communication is everything. And then she gave me examples like sometimes I would talk more than I would listen. Or every time she may say something, I always had something to come. I wasn't really listening. I was like listening to respond kind of thing. Yeah. And like, I didn't know, like if you don't, sometimes I don't, especially if you accept it all the time, I'm like, oh, it's okay because we're cool. But now that she made it very clear that's a problem and that's a hindrance in our relationship, like we have been so good. Like, and I'm learning to be a better friend. So when I do decide to date and meet that right person, right, when I choose that man, I don't know how to be a better girlfriend too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm just learning. Like I'm open to criticism and like constructive criticism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you said that. I have a friend like that. Like me and her, we've been friends since like probably middle school for real. And like we still keep in touch. Like I know her grandma, like that's my dog. But like we had a situation, and she lives in Florida, but we still keep in touch or whatever. So I had a situation where I was in Florida for business, and I ended up in the town where I used to live, but I didn't necessarily have the time to stop and see her. But her sister saw me out, and she was like, "Oh, I seen Braylon. Oh, you ain't see him this and that, or whatever." So she had hit my phone like, "Oh, you're not being a good friend right now. You always come to town. You don't kick it with me, this and that." So, but I mean, I had to tell her like, "Look, I mean, I just happened to stop through and I saw who I saw.
Right.
It wasn't necessarily anything about you, but I just had this amount of time, and this is the person that I chose to see, or whatever." So just like you were saying, like your friend called you out on that, and then you made the proper adjustment. So, I mean, like just being able to have a level of communication, I feel like that's important in your friendships.
And on the flip side, I'm so hesitant when I say sometimes, but whatever. So I actually had a friend who we had a situation and it went nowhere. They didn't communicate with me. So I also take that as, especially if I was not in the wrong about something, I also take that as an indication that you're okay with where we are. I'm gonna leave that there too.
Yeah.
If you correct me, like I would correct my child, you do that out of love because you want, I want you to, let's continue this relationship. But if I hear nothing, that's an indication that this is over. So I'm letting go of what no longer serves me, and I'm okay with that.
Right.
Yeah, and now that you say that, me and her have had like a few situations where she tried to cut me off. I'm like, all right, bro, don't get on your high horse now. Like, and you're like, and then vice versa. And like I said, she'll tell me about myself too. So like, that's my dog. Like, but yeah, but even speaking on that, her being a female and me being a male or whatever, and like, that's like a big thing going on around right now, like platonic relationships or whatever. So like, for you guys, like, what are your boundaries? Like, do you guys allow your significant other to have friends of opposite sex, or what's your level of comfort with?
Talking to you. I don't got nobody.
Yeah, that's fine.
I ain't got
I
nobody.
mean, Sheila, stop it, man. Sheila go on 3 dates a
Sheila.
week.
See you later.
Sheila go on 3 dates
Take
a
it
week
easy.
and be trying to act like.
Out of town.
But like, what's your level of comfort with your person you're dating, Sheila, since you try to act like you ain't got nobody, or your fiance and your situation,
Right.
Chris, what's your level of comfortability in regard to your person having someone that's a friend of the opposite sex?
I feel like if you trust a person, you can trust them to have friends with the opposite sex. It shouldn't matter. I mean, point blank, period. That's my very boring response to that.
What if it's a new friend?
Still.
Chris.
So if your fiance, let's say, she has a colleague at work that's the opposite sex, like, are you comfortable with them going to lunch together?
Yeah. You know, they work together. They go off the clock for lunch together.
Okay,
too.
okay, that's cool.
I mean,
Are you comfortable with them talking after work on the phone together?
yeah, talking, like texting and stuff. Yeah.
But what's your boundary? What's your point where you're like, all right, you're going a little too far with this now?
If she's out at like 3-4 o'clock in the morning with this person partying, then I probably bring it up. It's like, yo, what's going on? What are you doing?
Yeah.
But if they're just having conversation, I'm probably not gonna. I mean, honestly, that's just me. I don't know. I trust the person that I'm with. I wouldn't be with this person for as long as I have if I didn't trust her.
Yeah.
I mean, if this was like year 1 or year 2, and she was maybe texting a lot of like men, I'd probably be concerned. But we've been together for more than that amount of time, and I mean, we've invested in each other.
Yeah.
And so that investment entails that if she does things that are outside the purview of our relationship, she's taking an L too, just as much as I am. And to be honest with you, she would be taking more of an L.
Let me say
All
this.
right,
So it's an investment. And it's whoa, Chris. It's an investment on both parts. And if that person decides to waste both of our time, then they're wasting both of our time.
Yeah.
You're wasting my time, of course, and that's something that maybe she doesn't care that much about if she's doing some extra relationship shit. But you're wasting your time too. You could be out there just with that guy instead of coming back home to me.
Yeah.
You're wasting your time.
Almost like let them do it. Let them do what they want to do.
Yeah.
And if that's what you end up wanting to be, I'd rather you do that than marry me.
Yes.
And waste my time. And yeah.
I mean, I have a pretty concrete idea of my self-worth.
Yeah.
I know that's right.
To the point where, I mean, I'm not even like flexing for this podcast.
I feel you.
Realistically speaking, if you're with me and you're also cheating on me, you're wasting the fuck out of your time.
I ain't coming for your man, but I need somebody like this.
I'm just saying. I mean,
I need a
realistically
confident
speaking.
man. That's one reason the last few ain't worked out. Not confident.
Oh, man.
You gotta be confident. Know, like,
realistically.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Time is very precious, and if you have someone else that you want to be with, but you're spending the most of your time with me, you're hustling backwards. You are hustling backwards.
I love it. That's so true.
That's just me.
I like
So
that
yeah,
perspective.
platonic
I love
relationships
it.
can exist. You take it a step further, you're kind of fucking yourself.
Do you have a platonic friend?
Yeah, plenty. I have colleagues that are of the opposite sex that we are friends. We talk. I mean,
So it's no type of friction or anything like that in your relationship?
with my relationship, no.
Yeah. That's what's
Because
up.
I mean, it's the same thing. Again, communication. Communicating the
Yeah.
fact
I got a
that
question. So what if it's somebody that she previously slept with?
she previously slept with, she was trying to be friends with.
It didn't work out, but now... What?
It wouldn't really bother me that much.
Chris, you tripping, man.
I think that's why
I'm really not. I'm really not. I mean, listen. A year or so ago, yeah, it would have bothered me. Now it's just kind of like, again,
It's on you, huh?
you slept with that person. If you want to be friends with them, sure. If you're trying to be romantic with somebody while you're being romantic with someone else, it's kind of like, again, why don't
What
you
are you
just
doing?
devote your you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't say I'm laissez-faire about it, but I understand more so the conception of the value of time. And if she slept with someone 4, 5, 6 years ago, and they're friends now, okay, just don't sleep with them.
I think
while.
I'm not okay with that. No.
Okay, I understand.
And the bad thing about that is, like a lot of people I've dealt with, not that I slept with a lot of people, a lot of people that I've like dealt with recently, I am still friends with them. I don't have anything against them. So the conflict would be,
that is a very interesting point. So you have slept with people that you're still friends with.
Who out here?
That's what she said. Is that not what she said? That she slept with some people?
Yeah.
I'm not saying you're a whore or anything. You know what I'm saying? Are you serious?
Huh?
No, I'm just playing. No, you currently are friends with people.
I'm still cool with them. Like, I don't think I've really fallen out with anybody that like.
Exactly.
But the problem would be, because now I feel like I'm in a place where I am ready to date. For a while, I wasn't ready to date. I was trying to just like, not even get myself together or heal. I just didn't want to be bothered. And that's okay, because I wanted to get certain things in my life in order.
Right.
And so now I feel like I'm at a place where I am really ready to date. But if I get serious with somebody, like if they say, oh, you cannot talk to XYZ, like I'm trying to figure out how would that play out.
So I don't know who you're good friends with that you may have slept with in the past, but let's say you have a pretty good friend that you slept with in the past, right? You don't want to sacrifice that friendship, but you start dating someone who says platonic relationships aren't possible and you can't associate with that person anymore. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? See what I'm saying?
I gotta figure that out.
It's a little bit more nuanced than you have sex with someone and thus there's always going to be some kind of romance with that person.
You know what, though? For the sake of being fair, I think I would say that I would have to cut the friendship off, because if that was, if the situation was flipped, I always believe in being fair. So if the situation was with him, I'd say, yeah, that's not okay with me.
But Sheila, for you, what's like if you were dating somebody, since you want to be funny about it, but if you were dating somebody, like what's your level of like comfort with them having a friend of the opposite sex? Like
if they never slept with them, I'm okay with it, and we all about to be friends. Hey, girl. Matter of fact, the group chat, it's gonna be a group chat. Well, y'all got one of us. Okay? We in one conversation. No, I'm okay with it. I'm like Chris, like I'm okay with. I feel good about who I am right now, and I feel like I have a lot. I know I have a lot to offer to you. So if that is, if the situation, if y'all veering off somewhere else, that's on you. I'm like you on that note.
Yeah.
But
like I've had friendships where like, all right, it's platonic to me, but it might not have been platonic to her. It's like she might have been trying to get at me, or like etc. Or she could have liked me this whole time, but like I just look at you like a friend, and I'm not even seeing that you like making passes at me or whatever. So I don't know, man. But I say in a relationship, like I ain't never gonna tell somebody who they can and can't talk to. But if you start moving funny,
the
like
control
all right,
factor,
I ain't. People gonna do what they want to do.
We're adults at this point.
Yeah, people gonna do what they want to do regardless of like, well, if you say don't do this, don't be here at this time, don't all that kind of shit. People gonna find a way to do what they want to do regardless. So like, it's no point in me saying that. But I mean, if like Chris was saying, like I feel the same way. Like if you choose to go out and do what you do, that's on you. Like I know who I am, I know where I'm going, I know what I'm gonna do. So like if you want to blow that on this, hey, that's on you. At the end of the day, I know I'm gonna be me. But
because confidence is everything. Like that's been a deal breaker too. I'm letting everybody know. If y'all never know why I left y'all, rewind back these podcasts. Confidence, control. Like nobody likes that.
Listen,
I'm so grown.
To all of Sheila's exes,
y'all ain't shit.
If you were ever confused, if she ever left you adrift, not knowing what in the hell happened, this is for you.
Yeah,
this track is for you.
We're gonna name this podcast episode "A Case of the X."
I like that.
But this has been the latest episode of The Urban Experience. Check us out on StarDineEntertainment.com, and we'll see you guys next week.
Happy New Year, y'all.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
2021.
Stay safe and stay healthy, please.
All that.